Hi, welcome to I'm Just Here. I'm your host, Reese Baker, and today we're joined by my great friend, Maury.
Hey.
Talking about friendship, aka looking at them sideways. Thanks, Isaiah. So I guess we could just dive right in. Do you think that friendships are like relationships in some ways? I think that's like the first question I had.
If I had to say, I would say like in some form or fashion, like yeah, like friendships are kind of like relationships. Like, in relationships you have to compromise, and that's the same with like friendships. Like sometimes your friend's gonna do some things that you don't like or appreciate, and you guys got to talk through it, communicate in order for y'all to still maintain the friendship. So, in a way, yeah, I would say like friendships in their own way are like relationships also.
Yeah, I agree because I feel like friendships are like you still gotta communicate with that person, you still gotta talk to that person, y'all still gotta check in with each other, especially like with like mental health too, because everybody just be doing their own thing, so it's just like you also gotta check in, make sure that like you still keep the communication going on both playing fields, so it's not like one person giving more than the other person.
Right.
So, and in some regard, I do think they're all tied to each other.
Yeah. I also think, like, whenever, say, like, when one of your friends is in a relationship and they break up or whatever, and the only person they can confide in is that friendship. Like,
right.
Like, have you ever felt as though, like, a friendship hurt worse, like, losing than a relationship?
Yeah.
Just because, like, your friends are there for you before your relationship and they'll be there after, so... Yeah, in a way, like, it's still like a relationship, like, and I feel like friendships run deeper than relationships too, just because like how long y'all been friends for, We going on an 8 month or 8 year relationship here, honestly,
right. What does friendship mean to you? That's the second question.
Oh, let's see. I think, me personally, I think friendship means like. It means more than what people like to admit it does. I think, I don't even know, man. Like, I'm trying to think, like, what do friendship mean to me? Like,
when I think of friendship, like, words come, like, I'm real big on, like, loyalty, respect, kindness, and, like, humor. Because if I can't laugh at you as a friend, like...
Right.
What are we doing?
Right.
What are we here for? Like, I feel like humor to me is the best way, like, to know, like, if I can laugh with my friend, I can have deep conversations with my friend. My friend is there for me in, like, different situations. I feel like that's the biggest thing. And that's especially because I feel like with me, nobody could be like, oh, yeah, Reese is a bad friend. Because any person I've lost, I decided to leave that friendship. It's never been... the other way around. So
yeah, you gotta let people go for those people that are meant to be there in your life, I feel like.
Yeah.
And back to like what you were saying about the different things of what friendship means to you, I think the biggest thing for me is genuine like connections. Like, it's no envy between like your friends. Like, you shouldn't be friends if you envy that person or like are insecure within yourself just because you're friends with that person or whatever. Like, I think being genuine in anything that you do, not even just like with friendships, just being genuine is what makes things like better. And like, I think that's I feel like that's the most thing like I value in like a friendship is like being genuine.
Facts.
Like, authentic. Like, Just that's it. We ain't gotta force anything.
Right. It's just easy. It's very good with the flow.
Right.
My next question would be, what areas do you think people lack when it comes to friendship?
I think the biggest thing is communicating, like, especially like at our grown age, like communicating should be second nature at this point. Like, we done been around this earth, most of us 2 decades, like we done been around a long time for us to be sitting over here and not communicating. And especially if you care about the friendship, I feel like communicating how you feel is it's so detrimental, just because like if you really care about the friendship and you want it to last, you would communicate how you feel. What was the question again? So
like, what do you think? Like, people lack in like their areas of friendship? Like,
yeah, I would say communication, accountability, for sure. Like, if I can admit when I'm wrong, you should be able to do the same. I think that's just called adulting. I think people lack with this isn't necessarily like, I haven't dealt with this for a while, but like I feel like people that don't know how to balance like relationships and friendships. Like I feel like
I hate that.
I understand that y'all like you have like a relationship and everything, but I feel like overstimulating yourself to where you're only like tied down to one person and you cut all your friends off. That is so like I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about that. I feel like honestly, that's like immature. Like for real.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. You got any that comes to mind? Like,
well, I was gonna say the one where you said like relationships when you have friends that like put more into their relationships or they just hang out. Like, there's nothing wrong with you like wanting to hang out with your significant other or doing what you want to do with your boyfriend or whatever. But at the same time, you like gotta learn balance. Like I was in a relationship, but people didn't know I was in a relationship. Right. So then when I told my friends, it was like, I think I told you, he was like, I didn't even know you had one. Yeah, I didn't even know when we first met. So, because it's like, I don't make it be known, because that's not, like, my relation was not my personality. Right. So it's just like, I'm not going to make it my whole personality. I feel like sometimes people make a relationship their whole personality and then they treat their friends bad because they just want to have all that person's attention all on them. But it's like your friends were there for you first before the dude came, before the girl came. And it's just like you got to learn how to balance just like anything in your life. Like you got to learn how to pour into, like, don't get me wrong, like it's hard. It's very hard, you know, especially because like you're in college and stuff like that. But it's just like you got to learn how to balance it. And so it's just like with that, I just be hating when, like, my homegirls or something, like, they're just like, why are you acting like this? Right. Like, for real, like, that doesn't make any sense. I feel like if you dog your friends out because you want that man's attention that bad, it's never that serious. I'm sorry. Because he's not going to be there when everybody else is gone. Like, come on now.
Right. I'll also say this, I think what I've learned like over the last few months is you can't, I feel like it's not only for me but like friends also, I think you can't set such high expectations for people when you first meet them. Like off of the first like time that you like meet somebody, you're like, dang, we could get off good, like da 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 da. A little time go on, you're like, dang, they kind of did something weird that I didn't like for real, like you know, and then you'd be like, dang, do I really? You'd be contemplating if you want to be friends with them and everything, but you have to realize that yes, everybody's human. We all have our own flaws, and you can't just, you know, you can't basically justify your whole friendship over just that one time. Like, you have to, you know, you can't set the expectations too high.
And my therapist also told me, like, you can't expect you out of other people.
Right.
Just because,
that's
like,
so real.
Just because you are such a great friend doesn't mean that person, like, is the type of friend that you are. Because, you know, there's some people in life that go, like, the extra mile for their friends and they do this. But not everybody is like that. Some people are just like chill more than others, or they're like more like they're trying to try to do, you know, fix what they need to do, but at the same time not everybody is the type of friend that you are. So you can't expect that person to be like how you are in certain situations when it comes to friendship, because they're not you and you're not them. So it like you just can't expect that. And I feel like you touched on it earlier, like communication is the biggest thing. If you don't tell your friend how you feel, how are they supposed to know? You know? Like, how are they supposed to
know? They don't have superpowers.
They can't think. Like, if you don't say, this really affected me or this really hurt me, sometimes the biggest problem with friendships is the misunderstandings and the conversations that we don't have. So then when we don't have them, then it's just like we're all looking confused. And it's just like, oh yeah, okay, so this hurt me. But, like, I just want you to understand where I'm coming from. That doesn't mean, like, go ghost on a person. Don't talk to that person, because how's the person supposed to know? And that's even in with relationships. You can't expect somebody to know your feelings just right off the bat. So it's just, like, I feel like communication is the biggest thing. And even, like, with me, like, even in my own areas, I feel like sometimes I lack in communication with my friends because I'm just so mellow, you will never understand like what's really going in my brain unless I tell you, or unless I really have that dynamic with you.
Right.
But I don't think being nonchalant is a cute character trait no more.
I don't. Like, you see all on Instagram the nonchalant dreadhead in the corner. Like, I feel like being nonchalant is so dead. Like, why do you want to have such a bland and non-approachable personality? Like, nobody gonna talk to you. And
right.
Like, I'm nonchalant. I don't want to talk to anybody. It's like, get out of that. Like, why are you being nonchalant?
My next fourth question is, how do you let go of bad friendships? What do you do in those situations?
So with bad friendships, what I normally do, I feel like it's just kind of become like, not like a force of habit now, but you just kind of have to slowly, day by day, just kind of like let that person go. Like, you can't just like, I mean, some people, they do cold turkey, and honestly, I don't really do cold turkey. I just kind of, and I feel like if you cut somebody off cold turkey, you're going to be going through so many different woes. Like, you're just going to be like, dang, you start to feel like it's your fault that the friendship was, it ended or whatever, it ended on the terms that it did. But you just kind of got to slowly drift yourself away, or that's how I do. And what I mean by like slowly drifting away, I'm not going to act weird towards you. It's just I'm going to kind of, it'll kind of go from like where we're talking like here, right? It would be like a hey and bye type of thing. And then as that progresses, it's just kind of like, if we ever get to the point where we have to communicate and everything and talk about everything, I'm just going to be like, yeah, I just don't see this flourishing much more. Like, it's no beef, anything like that. It's just, I just don't think... It's just
kind of like a drifting.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's what I kind of just do. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to have a friend. Like, I feel like if you go on about life without having friends or nobody to talk to, life is miserable. Yeah. So I don't ever want to be like not a friend or somebody. It's just, we just weren't the best of friends. Yeah. That's it.
I feel like the same. Like, I don't have any hate towards anybody or any bad blood towards anybody. I just kind of like distance myself from the situation. Right. So it's like, I still care about you. I still love you, but I'm just not maybe just because like I feel like sometimes friends are meant for seasons, and sometimes they're just meant for a lifetime. Right. And then sometimes it's just like, okay, it's like a trial period. Like, okay, well, they're cool, Like, I've had certain situations where it's just like I friend somebody too quickly, and then I like learn how they are, and then I kind of just be like, no, that's not for me no more. Right. Don't mean that we're not cool, or I'm not still gonna support you or whatever you do, but it's just like I just feel like you can know me but not know me at the same time. So once I see how you are, I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm cool off it, Right. I just like very observant, so it's just like I'd rather just see how you are first, and then kind of once I see how you've been with certain people or certain stuff like that. And I also don't like to base things off like assumptions, because the biggest thing I hate is when people make assumptions about other people without talking to them. Right. So I'd rather make my own assumption about how you are and then go from there, because then that's just like, that's my own personal opinion about you. I'm not going to go based off of what somebody else said, because that's not my experience with you. So it's just like, I feel like that's the biggest thing that I kind of just like distance myself, like cold turkey, like you said. Yeah.
No, for real. I mean, there are times where like, if somebody really do you low down, dirty dog, like, wrong, you got to, like remove yourself. It's like sometimes you don't even really, like, owe people explanations. Right. Like, I'm a very big, like, communicator and everything, but, like, sometimes, like, if somebody is constantly, like, as they say, playing in your face, you don't owe them an explanation. Just, like, you gotta nip it in the bud. Right.
My fifth question is, what ways do you deal with a friend that they're still cool with somebody that you don't like? Or like, you ever have a friend where they still talk to this boy that they shouldn't be talking to, but they still talk to them? Like, and that relationship was bad, but they told you about it, and they kind of just like still hang around the same person. Like, what do you do in those types of situations?
So with people that are still friends with somebody, I guess that I'm not cool with, or we don't really talk like that anymore, I'm not gonna act weird towards them, just because I feel like our relationships are different. Like, I have my own, like, I try to have own personal relationships with everybody. I don't try to be like, how, like, I don't know if this really, like, ever works out, but, like, you know how like if you're in a big friend group and like say like two of the core people stop being friends, then the whole group falls apart. I don't like that. Like I feel like everybody in the friend group should establish like their own personal like relationship with each other. So then if someone stopped talking to the other person, you're like, well, I'm still friends with you. Like, you know, we can still kick it or whatever, even though you and so have your, you know, flaws or your differences. Then, you know, that doesn't affect us. I feel as though, you know, I'm going to tell you how I feel about the situation because that's, you know, you still going to have to not validate, but like respect my feelings towards about why I'm not friends with them. You know, I'm going to be like, hey, like, you know, I don't necessarily, you know, mess with that person or anything like that, but I'm not going to feel some type of way just because y'all are still friends. Right. Just know that if I'm around, I don't want to see them. type.
Yeah. And the reason why I ask this question is because I feel like sometimes people just need it, like, to have questions about, like, just have a conversation about a level of maturity as friendship. Because I feel like we talk about maturity and, like, we're all, you know, older, but sometimes we don't act like it, you know? Like, we don't act our age even though we are, you know, in college. So I feel like that just applies to just basically how college life is, like, in general, how people are in general, like, just the level of maturity you have to have as a friend and a friendship is like you have to have an understanding and be mature in that situation and be the bigger person at the end of the day because the beef is not that beef, you know? So I just feel like in so many situations that can apply to anything. Even like relationships or just in general. But my next question would be, what situation has taught you the greatest lesson of friendship?
You said, what is the greatest lesson that
you've
learned from friendship? I would say my greatest lesson that I've learned from friendship, just like over the years, is at the end of the day, I always got me. Like you can't ever just like depend on just like one person because we're not promised tomorrow. Anything can happen, and who's to say like, you know, y'all are not friends the next day or, you know, the few weeks to come or anything. And I had to go to a point where I basically went into solitude because I was like, I'm feeling so many different types of ways about all these people in my friend group and I need to be by myself. And at that time, I didn't really know how to be by myself, which that's a different type of hurt when you by yourself and you're not talking to, you know, people you consider close all the time with and all this type of stuff. But you learn so much about yourself that you didn't know that you already knew. Like, you know, I just have gained this new independence of like, you know, at the end of the day, if they don't got me, I got myself. Like that. I feel like that's the greatest lesson you need to know because that's not only a good lesson about friendship, but it's about life. Like, if you're not gonna do it, who gonna do it? Like, if you're not gonna go get the degree, who gonna go get it? Like, it's just you just have to have that self assurance and within yourself that you can stand alone even when the storm, like amongst the storm and everything like that. What about you?
Maybe like what you said, like, you know, being alone is not necessarily a bad thing because I feel like sometimes, and I talked about this on my podcast, I think with JP and Nick, shout out to y'all. We talked about loneliness and how with loneliness people associate it with a negative connotation, and it's more so like, oh, okay, you're alone, like it's a sad thing when it shouldn't really be a sad thing. More so it's a good thing that sometimes you got to be alone because you learn more about yourself. I think people associate loneliness with always sadness or gloominess when it's just not that, and it can be so much deeper than that. You can learn so much things about yourself that you didn't know before because you're always surrounded by other people. You don't have time to be alone or like just be in your own world, you know what I mean?
I consider it like protecting my peace.
Facts.
Like that's all I think of when I'm alone. I'm like, right now, you know, like you still can have friends and everything, but once you get overstimulated, you're like, all right, I need to be back. Like I need to get back into one. And it's just like be protecting my peace. You shouldn't, if you don't want to be somewhere or be around somebody, like, and not to say you don't love them or anything like that, but you just need to take time to yourself. That's just protecting your peace at the end of the day. Yeah,
so I just think people think of it as a negative thing. Me personally, I don't think of it as a negative thing because I enjoy my own company sometimes, where it's just be by myself. Right. So it's just not even like that type of thing. So it's just like, I guess the biggest thing is like learning to be alone. Also, learning that people are just not shit sometimes, and that's okay. Heard. That's just what it is. That's true. Like, and that's okay, and that you learn, you live, you love. So it's just like, just learning that people are not shit, and always trust your own gut, because if you have a feeling about somebody, stick with that feeling. I always feel like that's just the biggest thing.
Intuition's everything.
Intuition is everything.
Is everything.
So yeah, and then my last question is, what are some things that you like about our friendship, and what have we taught each other?
So, just to give y'all a little background knowledge about me and Reese's friendship, we met last spring around, I'd say like, would it be April? It was like around April. Like the end of the school year. And if y'all know, like towards the end of the school year is when everything be getting good, but it's coming to an end. So, but when we first met, we just like, I don't know, we just clicked, especially like if you and somebody got the same music taste, that's a key to key sign. Like y'all, like, dang, like you know me for real. So, but no, like I've definitely learned like from us being friends, like just how to be like more real. I think also too, like you've given me like that validation to, you know, I'm valid for the way that I feel. Like, it's not just like, you know, I'm feeling this way just to feel like that, or like I don't know where these feelings are coming from, but you're like, no, you need to, like stand on why you feel the way that you feel. Like, you shouldn't be, you know, blaming yourself for why things aren't the way that they should be or anything like that. Like, I feel like you've been very reassuring. Like, I've kind of established that with you and everything like that. And it's just like, honestly, it's just good vibes. Like, it's just real. Like, I feel like whenever we talking or anything like that, like, I'm giving you my undivided attention, and that's being reciprocated. So, I don't know. I feel like those are just very key points in our friendship that I've learned, and like, I value that so much. Like, I love our friendship.
Period. What's some things that the right taught me? He taught me never ever be undressed. You know, always step. Don't even a little slight step. You mean?
Yeah.
Always. But I mean, like I had that before. Right. But I'm saying like it's okay to like stunt. You know, he just taught me more about like loving confidence in my style and how I dress, even though like sometimes I don't even do it on purpose. Right. But Maury's one of those friends like, okay, so what we wearing? What's the vibe like? What
Kendrick Lamar said? Sometimes you gotta pop out and show me.
Right. So he's showing me that, because you know I'm very like low key. I don't like to be like always around. So it's like, you know, I think he taught me that about myself. Like, just love your confidence, love yourself. Mm-hmm. Also, you know, just always, you know, stay true to you, because I think a lot of people don't think, like, Maury's very authentic. Like, he's himself all the time. Mm-hmm. And me personally, I love that, because I'm myself all the time. I don't know how to switch it off. So right. I think, you know, just we have a real authentic friendship. Mm-hmm. And, you know, even though it's been like a short time, I feel like, you know, that's twin, you know? So, period.
Even over the, like, course of the summer, like, distance still didn't, like, prohibit that. Like, we were still in communication. Like, you know, we weren't, you know, bullying 400s or nothing like that. Right. But we were still, like, in communication. Like, the distance didn't even matter. We were still, like, communicating, being like, what's up, how you doing, right. You know, stuff like that.
Right. Mm. And he also, like, that man is very smart. So, like, I love the fact that he, like, pushes himself and he drives himself to do great things, because, you know, he's just very smart and very, like, intentional with his time. I think that's the biggest thing I learned from you, is also be intentional with your time. Right. Like, you know, rest when you need to rest, vibe when you need to vibe. Mm. And then, like, you know, we still haven't went to a party together, but we are. No, we did. We didn't go together, but I saw you at the right. Function. But no, we do have to go out. No, right. Sure. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that Maury has taught me. And, you know, period.
Yeah, you only live this life once. You might as well live it the best way and the way that you get the most enjoyment out of it.
Facts.
Like that's if you're not doing something that don't make you happy, why are you doing it?
He's dropping bars, y'all. But that concludes my last question. Thank you to Maury for coming. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
Right. And remember, guys, stay blessed, no stress, and always be here. I'm finally back. Yeah, there's going to be more episodes coming. I got some people coming this semester. We're going to, I'm big announcement. This is my podcast, so I can do what I want. But there's only going to be 2 episodes a month instead of 3. Because it's a lot, and I'm still in school, and we still have to remember that. So it's only going to be 2 episodes, but remember, guys, stay blessed, no stress, and always be here, like I said before. Thank you for listening. It's a pleasure having you, Maury.
Shout out to Reed.
Shout out to Maury, period.